Hi guys, welcome to our next video. I'm from the Salesforce team and continuing off from our last session where we talked about the database.batchable interface and batch classes. This session is going to be about schedulable classes and how you can schedule any Apex class to run at a particular time interval in Salesforce. So this is a pretty common scenario. Maybe you have a batch class or you have a future method or anything and you want that piece of code to run at a particular time interval or at a particular frequency, maybe every 30 minutes, maybe just once daily, right? So in order to support that scenario, Salesforce provides a database.schedulable interface, or not database, I mean just the schedulable interface, just like it does for the batch class. So continuing up from our last example, let us assume that we have this batch class that we built in the last video. We want to schedule this batch class to run at 10 a.m. daily. So in order for this to be scheduled, we first need to create a schedulable class, which will be calling this batch class. So what you're gonna do is, just like in the batch, any normal Apex class can count as a schedulable class. So let's say we call this daily schedule, and this is just like a normal Apex class for now. So now in order for us to have this class work as a scheduled class, we need to add the implements and then schedule label like this. And so in the case of your schedulable classes, there is only one execute method that is needed to be defined in your Apex class. So in batch class, you have three: the start, finish, and the execute. But in the case of schedulable, you just have the execute. That execute two only runs once. So if your scheduled class is supposed to run 10 a.m. daily, your execute method will just run once at 10 a.m. and that's it. So the way you define that schedulable method is like this: public void execute schedulable context. Let's see, and we can save this now. So as you see, this was saved. Now, since we want to call this batch class, we will just call this here with database dot execute batch like this and this way. I'm passing null here because if you guys remember in the last session, we built this batch class in a way where if the list is passed as null in here, it will just process all the accounts in the org. So we're calling, I'm gonna just comment out here, calling the batch class. Now, once our schedulable class is ready, we just need to schedule it. And in order for us to schedule it, there are two ways to do that. The first way to do that is by going to your Apex classes. And once you go to your Apex classes, you'll see a button in here which says schedule Apex. So you can click on it. Then let's say I'm gonna say daily batch. It'll ask you which schedulable class you want to use. So as you can see, we only have a single schedulable class right now, and that is the one we just defined, the daily schedule. Now you can set the frequency in here to maybe run every day. If you want, you can run it every month too, like this. You have several options, which do you want to run it, stuff like that. You can have a start date and end date. So we want it to run as long as it could. Let's say we run it at 10 a.m. daily. And we save this out. So once you save this out, in setup, you can go to schedule label jobs. Here it is, schedule jobs. And in here, you are able to see that you have scheduled the daily batch class here, which is supposed to run at 10 a.m. today, and it will run daily. So this is one way to schedule your classes just through the UI. But a problem with this approach is if I go back to the schedule screen, so as you're able to see here, even if I schedule to run it daily, I'm only able to select one time slot here. So which makes it run at 3 a.m. So if I want my batch or my class to run at, let's say, every 30 minutes. So this is not be not I mean this would not be a good solution to schedule it for every 30 minutes using this approach. So basically Salesforce provides one more approach to schedule your classes, and that is by using the normal schedule method. So the second way to schedule your schedulable classes is using the system dot schedule method. As you can see right here, it has three parameters. The first is your job name, which should be unique, and this job name is what it shows up at in the scheduled job screen right here. So if I open that again, so let me name it as first test job. The schedule level is easy. It's the instance of your schedule level class. So in our case, it is our daily schedule like this. Now this cron expression, this is a little complex. The way this works is this is a string in nature like this, and this cron expression is used to represent a particular date and time in which your batch class will run. So usually the cron expression looks something like this, like 5, 2, 3. I mean, it has 6 parameters. So it is supposed to signify 6 parameters. The first parameter is your minutes. The second is your hour. The third is your day. So basically, the cron expression represents a time in this format. It has 6 parameters. The first is the seconds. Second is the minute. Third is the hours. Let's say you want this to run at 8 p.m. The next is the day, like let's say 20. The next is the month. Then you have what week it is supposed to run. So something like this, you can find the exact specification. I mean, cron expressions are something that is not specific to Salesforce. It has been present in Java and other languages too. But basically, you can design cron expressions in a way which lets your schedulable class know where it is supposed to be run. Now, the beauty of cron expressions is that instead of always needing to hard code values, you can also use star operators here. Star operators mean this will, I mean, if I just put star operators everywhere, that will mean that this job will run for, I mean, star represents any value. So basically, something like what we can do is I can create a job like this, right? And if I execute it, oh, I think I will use one of these. Okay, let me fix this. I think I'm just putting this in text. Okay, so I'm supposed to have the seconds and minutes as non-star parameters. Star is not supported in seconds and minutes, and star means any value, and question mark means all values. So this job will run every all 7 days because this last parameter refers to the week. So this will make sure that the job runs everywhere. So what we will do is we'll execute it. As soon as I execute it, if I go back to my scheduled job right here, you are able to see that this job has been scheduled and it is supposed to run at 7:30. So after it runs at 7:30, since we have used star operators here, this job will again run at 8:30. Why? Because it is supposed to run in the 30th second of the 30th minute for all the day, month, and hour values. So this is how you can use star and comma and question mark operators, I'm sorry, to build dynamic Cron expressions and have them work like this. All right, so this was again a starter guide for your schedulable classes in Salesforce, and I hope you guys understood it. It was a brief introduction, and see you guys in the next video.